price tag, but they'll be able to fly a drone over and they could target properties and then cite property owners via APNs without really seeing who the perpetrator was, go straight to the APN. But once again, they're a city, they could do a lot more and they have a lot more resources than we do.
Do you have a drone?
We do not have a drone that is qualified, certified, checkbox, and a drone operator to perform that task. But if you'd like, we could start working on that for next year.
Yeah, I mean, anything to mitigate it would be welcome. I mean, I'm not sure I'm not the only one that thinks that it's ridiculous that how many there are. And it goes on for weeks before, weeks after, and the night of.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, there's nothing more frustrating for me to watch illegal fireworks take place and only being able to take a fraction of them off the street. But if you look at it, we took over 100 off the street, so there would be 100 more.
And then what do you do with them?
We destroy them. So we have a very nice set of hydraulic cutters, and we cut the launch tubes with a nice set of hydraulic cutters. It gives the guys practice, and then we soak the pyrotechnics and dispose of them.
Okay.
Sometimes they go to San Luis Obispo Fire Investigator Strike Team, and we do research with them as well.
Fair enough. Any other board comments or questions? No. Okay, do we have any public comment on this item?
Guess I'm going first. I know that there's a couple out here, so there's going to be a couple of us coming. How's it going, Warren? Good evening.
It was fine.
Good evening. My name is Robert Rojas, engineer EMT with San Miguel Fire Department. It kind of sounds like you guys are all just about on the same page about the safe and sane portion of the fireworks. I 100% agree with you about the illegal portion of the fireworks. Anything that we could possibly do to help mitigate it is what we're kind of looking for, especially for our community. It's always loud, it's always a lot of colors, great for the kids, but safety for us is key. But the fact is, we can't prevent any of the purchasing of those illegal fireworks by our community, but we can influence the purchase of safe and sane fireworks to hopefully prevent those urges and those illegal ones. I've been volunteering with the Firefighters Association for about 5 years now, coming up on 5 years. And the selling of the safe, sane fireworks during the 4th of July season usually get, I believe last year was a little bit over 1,100 customers. Its goal for the community is to provide sufficient budgeting for our events and donations from the San Miguel Firefighters Association to other organizations statewide. Permit fees generated by the sales provide funding for staffing of firefighters during the sales operations and time of use of firefighters on the 4th of July. You've heard that earlier. It also pays for annual parades, such as the Sagebrush that is coming up soon, the Christmas parade as well, our Santa Claus visit, which last year, by the way, we got 343 children who came to visit, who were able to visit Santa Claus and also receive a toy of their choosing that were donated by local businesses and organizations. It also pays for liability insurance for those events and the liability for the equipment used for those events. Money has been donated to the Friends of the Library here in our community. It has also been used to purchase candy during Trunk or Treat for our local school, Billy and Larson, and other neighboring organizations. Advertising for the biannual Talent blood drives that we host at the station and other community events. It also helps with restorations and maintenance of vintage equipment that we have at our old station. It also sponsors recruits for the Allen Hancock Fire Academy in Lompoc. I was one of those recruits. The association helped out a lot with that, and I was a part of Battalion 152, graduated, and it was amazing. Now here I am working in front of with the fire department. It also provided enough budgeting for some workout equipment, for donations for workout equipment for the firefighter staff, keep us all in shape. And last thing that I have on here is that we donate a lot for the Alyssa Ann Rush Burn Foundation. And I'm not sure if you guys are 100% knowledgeable of what Alice Burn Foundation is, but it helps with Champ County kids, a lot of burn survivor kids.
Good time, sir.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
So please consider.
Hey, you didn't mention seed money for a skate park. There should be about $50,000 in your coffers for that.
Not sure about that.
I'd like to know.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Do we have additional public comment?
All right. Good afternoon, board. My name is Caden Reese. I've been a firefighter at EMT with the San Miguel Fire Department for coming up on 2 years now. Additionally, I have volunteered with the Firefighters Association since my original hiring date. I just want to touch on some things that you guys may not know about the fireworks sales. As Engineer Rojas mentioned, we run, that funds the parades, we donate to the Burn Foundation, and yeah, I just want to talk about, as being a graduate of William Larson School, I grew up being a spectator of these events, which I heavily contribute to leaving a lasting impression on myself and my future decision to pursue a career as a firefighter. And the Christmas parade is another event that I can recall from when I was younger, and now getting to be a part of making it happen for this town means a lot to me. And without fireworks sales, all of these events and donations would cease to exist. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional public comment?
Hi, I'm Tammy Tackett, and I live on 15th Street, and I want to talk a little bit about the illegal fireworks. I literally chase people off, running, and I don't have a problem with screaming, but what I'm noticing, because I live on 15th Street, it's kind of a hill, I can oversee your place, I can oversee, and the trucks with launchers get in it, and then they're up on the top of the hill. And then they shoot it off and they go driving around to over here on the other side of your house, where you're talking about. So they're driving these trucks around, and I can see that. I don't have the trucks on here, but I have a lot. I have from where they were doing them right next to my house. So I have a big tree by my house. So I'm out there chasing them, and I don't have a problem, and they're like, oh, sorry, and they move on, because they're all illegal. Now, when we're doing the fireworks that we buy, we have the garden hose right here with us, in the road, but we move in and out of the road. We have the fire hose, we have the plastic trash that has water in it. And we haven't had an incident. Neighbors did have an incident, and we all ran over, it was just right there, and one just this big. We all ran over, and it was out like that. So the community isn't the problem. It's the people that are bringing the other stuff in, which doesn't just happen a couple of weeks before and a couple of weeks after. It happened a couple months ago, and it'll happen in probably a week.
Yeah.
It happens all the time, not just around the corner.
Agreed. Yeah. I think, to your point, that they're coming from outside of San Miguel and driving around, so that they're not stationary, and again, going to be, cited or whatever. And it's a significant problem for everyone in the community. It poses a significant fire and risk to property and health of people, and animals, and everything else. And that's, again, I would reiterate, I'd like to have some information on how to legally take action to curb the use of illegal fireworks. I mean, aside from the fire risk and the danger to people and animals, it's just out of control in my mind.
Sheriff's here.
Do we have any additional public comment?
Good evening, my name is Ethan O'Rebelo. I've been a firefighter with San Miguel for just 3 years now. I did have a speech prepared, but I do not think that's necessary. I think we're all on the same consensus for the safe and sane fireworks, and rather shift the attention to the legal fireworks. I am in agreement with you. I think it would be the most important to kind of research some more citation factors that we could possibly enable. Additionally, I do want to just explain that our safe and sane fireworks, as Scott and Robert have both mentioned, help us staff for that specific few days, which is the most activity for those illegal fireworks. So, for lack of a better word, that enables us to kind of enforce, be the enforcers for those illegal fireworks. Scott says we do seize those firework launchers and stands or whatever, which does mitigate the problem a lot. So I think if we were to disregard the safe and sane fireworks, I think we would just be seeing a huge influx of those illegal fireworks. So again, I'm in agreement with you. I think it'd be cool to kind of look for further advancements and citation purposes. But safe and sane fireworks, I think all it does is just bring the community together, and it's cool for the kids. So.
Thank you. Any additional public comment? No? All right.
Am I able to add one more thing too? Do I need to back up there?
You had a minute left when I stopped the clock.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but last year we had like 2 zones for people to do the fireworks we sell, right? Like right next to the station with San Miguel Garbage, like donating their dumpsters
Just
too.
donated dumpsters so we can collect the safe and sane fireworks and dispose of them properly.
So that is another thing we do as an association. Is, I mean, what better place to set those areas up right next to the fire station so we could, you know, mitigate the problem if need be. Last year, I actually the next morning went out and collected all the trash and stuff like that. I know other community members take part in stuff like that too. So just another entity we do as an association.
Thank you.
And I know also the association hands out flyers that shows the designated areas where fireworks are allowed to be launched, and everybody is aware at the booth from, you know, seeing it firsthand. There's almost rules that are in place, okay, and it is explained to each person. Okay, you can only buy it on this one day. You may be buying it 3 or 4 days in advance, but this is the only day it's allowed up to, you know, 11:59, 4th of July. So, no, I do see, and all the good things the association does for the community, it's just phenomenal. I moved here almost 8 years ago now, and living in Paso, living in big cities, I've never seen anything like this in this area, where the community comes together. The illegal fireworks down by my house, right over here off of Weimer, I mean, it's the streets gutter to gutter filled with people. And, you know, you got mostly, you know, including myself, we have our kids out there lighting the little fountains, but then you got ones that I know for a fact don't live there, coming over with the mortars and the aerials and all that. You know, I feel like some of the other people have said, you know, it's not really a local thing, it's more of a people, you know, seeing the opportunity, knowing somebody here and setting them off. So I feel like the safe and sane is beneficial, and it's not one of those things where it's going to cause any, you know, will not cause damage like the other ones will.
Director Beatty is correct. We do pass out rules and regulations for use of safe and sane fireworks, English and Spanish, to every sale made, every transaction made. You get your receipt, you get the rules and regulations and a district map showing the boundaries of the C.S.D. And fireworks are only allowed to be utilized within the footprint of the community service district on the 4th of July.
So rules and regulations, something to the effect of like, don't aim them at people, don't light them under cars, things like that.
Those are common sense rules that are provided by TNT Fireworks. There's a pamphlet that comes out with that, but the rules and regulations are what you can and cannot do. You cannot transport, you cannot use, you cannot do this, minors and all that stuff. So it's the boring version, but TNT does have a colorful handout. That's the, user-friendly, don't do dumb things version.
Well, common sense, as you know, is uncommon, should be a superpower.
But that's what TNT provides. They provide that common sense pamphlet. We provide the rules.
Thank you. Do you have any other board comment?
I'd like to ask these guys, who would I direct my question to about the seed money for the skate park?
That would be a question that you and I could talk about. If you're asking me as a director right now, I don't think it's appropriate that we talk about it, but if you want to come into the fire station or afterward.
Well, we're talking about
We can talk
what you guys do with the money that you raise.
Right, so,
I felt that
okay.
was a very appropriate question.
You wouldn't?
Association is
What's that?
separate from the fire
It's the
department.
association, so we're talking about the association functions. This is a resolution for fireworks sales duration.
Right.
Up to Christine.
I would say probably stop probably because it's an association conversation with Scott, not him as the fire chief.
Is that asking a question based on what was said here? That's all.
I never said it.
Okay.
Any other board comment?
Any other board comment or questions?
Yeah, I have a question, and this pertains to what we're talking about right now. You said last year was a big year for selling safe and sane fireworks. How much money was generated profit from those sales?
Last year was not a big year for selling safe and sane fireworks, and the sales of safe and sane fireworks and the proceeds are not topic of this conversation. We're just talking about the sales duration and permit fees. That's an association function, and if you would like to see the association books, we have them available.
Well, these gentlemen here and you just stated everything that the sale of safe and sane fireworks was funding.
Well, they are speaking public comment. I'm speaking as the fire chief as to the resolution of that. If I change my hat and talk to you as a association president, which I am, I would say come in and we could talk about that separately from the meeting. It's not part of this board meeting unless Christina sees otherwise.
Because, it's up to you guys what kind of conversation you have. It's my opinion that it's not district business as far as the funding that a separate association is receiving. It was brought up, and if you're asking the public about their commentary, I think that that's appropriate if they have the answer, but it sounds like Scott has the answer and would like you to talk to him separately.
Well,
Well, we're voting on it tonight, though.
yeah, how are we gonna vote on something?
I believe it's also a nonprofit, Director Dave.
Yeah, the funds to the
It is, but-
association are not
I understand that.
directly related to this.
But okay.
So I think what the question is, trying to determine the viability or what the scale of the benefit is by having the fireworks sales. I think that's really the question.
I don't know if that's actually the question, but the scale of the benefit is obvious by the comments made by the public with the community outreach, the benefits to fire department staffing, the benefits to fire department training, and the like. Sales for fireworks go up and down. It's unpredictable, and the monies that we generate stay in the community for the most part, with the exception of the Lee Shamley's Burn Foundation.
Okay? And that,
I would like to ask that we set this aside until I get an answer to my question.
So just so we're understanding, this item is actually for the sales, the application period and the sales dates.
That's right.
The
And once
funding,
that's approved, it's approved.
and once that's approved, it's approved.
That's
yes.
Right.
You guys are asking about the finances of the firefighter association, which is a separate entity.
No, I'm asking about
The district.
what the money, where the money goes, and is it appropriated the way it's supposed to be appropriated. I don't want to be a part of a fundraiser. I don't want to give carte blanche to a fundraiser if the money is being shifted around? I asked a very basic question and I can't get an answer. So that's where I stand on it.
I understand.
That's kind of where I stand too. I mean, how are you gonna vote on something if you're gonna lose money selling something? That's like the purple pipeline. That's a non-win situation. The same thing with this.
So the difference is the purple pipe situation, which is not part of our conversation.
It's not.
I know, I'm not worried. I'm just using that as an example.
Right,
What I'm-
but
what
the
I'm-
Firefighter Association is a separate entity, and
I understand.
I understand your point about not wanting to approve something if you don't agree with where the money's going.
I don't.
I want to agree how much money.
You know the history, okay? And so if it's not there, then there's something.
And that's a conversation you and Director Davis would have to have with the fire chief.
No,
Right now-
with the
right now,
association president, not with the fire
Sorry,
chief.
correction.
Who's the association president?
Who is also Scott. So the request, the request right now is to, whether or not to approve the application and sales period for calendar year 2025 for fireworks sales.
I'd like to
All
bring it back.
nonprofits.
I would like to make a motion to bring it back.
I second it.
So we have a motion by Director Green to table this until when?
Until I get an answer.
Which could,
Has to be it.
Do you, I'm sorry, do you intend to have the same discussion with all of the other nonprofit applicants, or is your only concern the Firefighters Association?
I don't know what the other group does.
Right, right.
I'm the one that wrote the ordinance, okay?
so I think this board,
I'm the one that did all the legwork to get this passed in the very first place 24 years ago.
so this board needs to be impartial to all nonprofits. I understand.
I understand
your
that,
point.
and I'm not saying anything against another nonprofit. I'm saying I want more information.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we have a motion from Director Green to table this, and a second by Director Davis.
If I can ask a question on the timing and the dates.
What's up?
If I can ask a question on the timing and the dates in question. If we're talking about May, and this were to come back in April, that's not really giving much time to notice people that they can apply.
They know.
So would you suggest?
This is an annual thing, they know.
All right.
Is there a time limit as far as, how do I put it, where this needs to be, it needs to be put before? Sorry, I'm trying to think of the correct words. Is there a certain limit as far as how soon this needs to be dealt with or voted on? I guess is what I'm really asking.
The resolution has a timeline laid out. I mean, if the board chooses not to vote at this timeline, then we'd have to create another timeline.
So it is possible that if it's brought back in April, that the May timeline would still be possible. If it's brought back in May, then that may be problematic with getting permitting.
The impractical part, knowing both sides of the equation, is with the vendor and getting the insurance in place and getting the sales permits in place and all the other things. And a lot has changed in 24 years, let's just say that.
Okay, so to that I would say, we put a thermometer out at the corner and told people, year after year after year, the proceeds, part of the proceeds, were gonna go towards seed money to build a skate park for this community. I raised $50,000 with very little help from any of the other firefighters, okay? Now, I just want to know that that money is still safe and sound, or if it's been swept under the carpet. Because if that's the case, then I don't feel appropriate that you raise money under a guise of what you're going to do with it, and then do something else with it. That's not honest.
There is no guise of a thermometer out for public view at this point in time.
No,
At one
you're right, I raised 50 grand and walked away.
Well, I can speak to the
Whatever.
past. I can answer your question. I don't know if it's gonna make any difference, but, so, let's go back to 2006. I think it was last year you participated in fireworks sales. Do you want to do that?
What's that?
2006 was the last year you participated in fireworks sales, to the best of my knowledge. 2001, when
No.
the fireworks sales
No,
started.
it went way beyond
2006, Sean Stanley took over. 2007, I took over. At the point in time, there was approximately
No, you
$35,000 that was
participated. I'm
raised.
not gonna argue with you, Scott. I know better.
That's a
I know better. I didn't raise $50,000
You
in
did,
6 years.
I'm giving you the bottom line on it. So
I didn't raise
Bill
$50,000
Brown,
in 6 years.
myself, Kelly Dodds.
I took a motion on the table.
Ashley? Yes.
Right,
What is this?
So we have a motion on the
I was
table.
going to explain it to you, but we won't do that.
So we have a motion on the table to table this item by Director Green and seconded by Director Davis.
Do we need a date to bring it back or table
Do
it?
you have a date that you prefer to bring it back? Or just at the
April's fine.
next available meeting?
April's fine.
So table till the April 17th special board.
I'd like to clarify, how is the information going to be brought back?
Can I ask a question?
Sounds like it's gotta be a closed door discussion.
Until public comment.
So can I ask,
We have to wait for public comment.
okay,
We
sorry.
already did
We
public
already did public
comment.
I already did that.
So this is to bring it back as it is written right now. This is, again, for all nonprofits within the community, not just the firefighter association.
With the expectation, you will have had a conversation with the fire association president to satisfy any.
So unfortunately, we didn't do this last week.
If we can have a roll call, please.
Yes. We have a motion on the floor by Director Green to table this item to the April meeting, seconded by Director Davis. We'll have a vote. Director Smiley.
No.
Director Beatty.
No.
Director Green.
Yes.
Director Sangster, Davis.
Yes.
Director Sangster.
Yes.
Passes 3-0 absent
So we table to the
in April.
April 17th board meeting.
Closed session board meeting? Or
Regular.
regular? Okay.
Regular board meeting.
Is there gonna be a special meeting, April 17th?
It's considered,
We
no,
moved
no,
it
it's
up.
not.
No, it's a regular.
Yeah,
It's a regular meeting, it's just on a different day.
We moved it up.
Oh, okay.
it's moved up to the 17th.
Oh, that's right, I
Yeah.
remember. Okay, I got it.
You did?
Director Bean had a conflict, so the meeting was changed to the 17th.
Okay.
So the next item is also related to fireworks. If the board wishes to table that as well, then we'll just need to take public
I make a
comment.
motion to table.
We need to take public comment.
I have a question. So this is related to the permit fees. The permit fees are outside of anything that's considered part of the sales, correct?
No.
So the permit fees are predicated on there being a sales at all.
No, but I guess what I'm getting at is, I mean, in the resolution or in the packet, it's framed as cost recovery for allowing people to apply to sell fireworks, right?
The permit fees is what we have determined is the cost to have 2 people on staff during the sales duration of the fireworks, 10 hours a day from the 1st to the 4th. That's how we come up with that number. So it's $2,173, assuming there's 2 booths. If there's less than 2 booths, then 1 booth is going to burden that entire amount.
But both booths are not run by the San Miguel Firefighters Association, is that correct?
No.
Okay.
But if there's only 1 booth is going to pay $4,300 and change
Okay.
in fees.
Okay.
If there were 3 groups, then it would be divided down further, but there was only 3 groups at one time. That didn't go so well. It was typically 2 groups. That were 2 nonprofits that were selling fireworks, and in the past, one of the nonprofits, they were running out of viable personnel, and they opted to relocate their efforts to the fair.
Okay. Thank you for that. I have some concerns on the insurance limits as well, based on the potential for liability. Is there a separate insurance policy that covers just this sales period and this event for San Miguel Firefighters Association and anyone else that's
This insurance is provided by T&T Fireworks to the district at the amounts requested in the past, and we've maintained those 1 million, 3 million coverage amounts. And this is part of the, when the tally's done, they get reimbursed for the cost of the insurance. So the individual nonprofits pay for the cost of the insurance.
Okay. I would say that, in my world, that those limits are probably not sufficient. If there were an actual incident to occur, that perhaps they should be revisited with TNT if they are establishing the coverages.
It's been that way. It's still the same thing it's been for 24 years, right?
That's why I'm saying.
No, we raised it about 3 years ago
To
1 million, 3 million. I believe it was less than that before.
it was
500,000, 1 million, so
It was
they've
1 million.
increased.
Okay, that's my only comment. Any other comment from the board? Public comment on this item? No.
Was there any action related to that comment, sir?
I think there was a motion before we took public comment.
Yeah.
We have a first for a motion to table by Director Green. Is there a second? To table
Yes,
this?
I second it. We already tabled number 2.
Yeah, no, we're tabling the next one now because
Okay, number-
one depends on the other.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor to table this 10.3. Yeah, 10.3 item.
I was trying.
Oh, sorry.
No, I just wanted
Go
to
ahead.
get clarification because I'm a little confused on what you guys just did. I'm just confused sitting here watching. I don't understand what you were saying that had to affect this specific thing. I'm understanding that they're two separate entities. Whether it's the same person doing it, that's not my concern. Okay? So this is the head of the chief, and this is the head of something else. We're not here to deal with that specific thing at the moment. I thought that we were talking about whether we can do the safe fireworks, not where all their money's gone. They put on the parade. I don't want to lose the Christmas parade, do you?
Not particularly.
Okay, I don't want to lose this other parade that they're trying to switch to different times so we can get it back the way it was to bring people back in. I've lived here, we bought the house in 1990, whenever the house was built. I've lived on that house since then. So I've been here a long time too.
I'd be more than happy to discuss the details with you.
But see, I understand that that's a separate thing, and I might be mad about that separate thing as well. I don't
Right,
know.
so-
But what I'm saying is, this has nothing to do with it. They're two separate things.
See, I disagree. When you
So we're gonna raise the parade.
tell the
Are you guys
community,
gonna- How are you gonna get the parade going?
when you tell the community that you're raising money for a particular thing, okay? The county, I've told the county that $50,000 exists. They're counting on it. If they ever get around to putting a skate park here,
understand
we're the only
exactly what you're
community